Hello and welcome to... Hold on a second. Hello and welcome to the 116th episode of Downtime Podcast with Jeremy and Alyssa. Alyssa is out today, so I brought my brother Jordan back in.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome back. So before we get into stuff that we're playing, I want to talk about some news stuff that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, this is the Sony deal.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that he's officially gone. Some people are saying it's still in negotiation, but the official word is that it's still in negotiation.
Yeah. I hope they work it out. I feel like if they don't work it out and Sony just does its own thing with Spider-Man and Spider-Man's no longer in the MCU, I feel like both sides are still gonna make money and people are still gonna watch the movies. I don't think it's going to completely tank Spider-Man, assuming that they don't do anything crazy with it.
Yeah.
But I do hope that they work out this deal. And I've heard different theories on what it is. Some people say, oh, it's Sony's fault because they're getting too greedy and they don't want to give away some of the money. But then some people are saying, oh, but it's Disney's fault because Disney's already making tons of money. So why are they trying to leech more off of Sony? So I again, don't know the specifics. Doesn't seem like anyone that isn't directly involved knows anything like specific about it, but I mean technically it could be either side's fault, or who knows, maybe both of them are just being really greedy.
I'll give you the official rundown. They're both being greedy. So what happened was, the deal was if Far From Home made over $1 billion, they can renegotiate the contract.
Okay.
And Disney said, okay, so Sony, we want 50-50 split on the movie's profits.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And we want to retain the like 90 to 100% merchandise rights. And Sony was like, no, you can't do that because because like at that point Sony was financing 95% of the movie while Disney had the creative control.
Yeah.
And so Sony was like, no, you don't get 50-50 because then you still have the merchandise. You're making so much money off of the merchandise. And then at the end of the day, it's all about money. And Kevin Feige was like ousted. Not ousted. Well, there's reports saying that he's out of the future creative control of the movies. So that means that Disney is out. But again, the negotiations are still going on. It's not official yet.
Because again, that's one thing I've heard is that Sony just wanted to keep the same deal that they've always had, but Disney wanted more.
Yep.
So if that's the case, then it seems like it's Disney's fault. But then, I don't know.
They're both at fault.
We really don't know. I'm sure they're really trying to keep it secret because they don't want too much. Because this could potentially affect, I don't know, like stocks or something, you know. So who really knows what's going on?
Yeah. No, it's honestly, it's both of their faults. And everyone just wants Spider-Man back in the MCU, or they want to continue the movies because apparently there were 2 more movies slated.
Yeah,
there was both by director John Watts. It was sequels.
Yeah,
so.
and I heard like technically if they decide that they want to do their own thing with Spider-Man, they could technically still keep making movies. They have to just make sure it doesn't have any direct connection to the MCU. Like they could still use Tom Holland, they could still use J. Jonah Jameson, you know, and like continue the story with, you know, like the Sinister Six that they set up. But they would just have to be like, oh, but there's no Happy Hogan, and there's no mention of Tony Stark.
Right.
And you just like have to completely ignore all that. But technically, this is a continuation of Spider-Man. That'd be really weird, because then it's like there won't be consistency between that world and what's going on in the MCU anymore.
Yep.
So I don't know.
It's so confusing. And like, what if they still had Tom Holland as quote unquote Spider-Man in the MCU, but they couldn't say his name, but he was just there.
Yeah, because they can just have him be like, hey, here's this guy, hey kid, and just have him be like, Tom Holland being a character. And then he would just be Peter in the credits without any explanation.
PP or something.
Yeah, be like, hey, here's this kid who doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything crazy. He's just here.
I heard he likes bugs.
Yeah, like, and just like be self-referential about it.
Oh, man.
It'd be funny, but it would also be really sad.
He can't do anything. He's just there.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be like the next Iron Man in a way.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
I think they were trying to set up like a Young Avengers or something.
Yeah, well, Spider-Man in general is like Marvel's most popular character.
Yeah.
People didn't care about Iron Man or Thor before the MCU. Like, Spider-Man was the biggest thing. It was Spider-Man and X-Men were the biggest Marvel things. So, like, Spider-Man's a big moneymaker.
Everyone knows Spider-Man.
Yeah, everybody knows who Spider-Man
Yeah.
is. Yeah. And I think, like, everyone pretty much knows who Iron Man is now, but that wasn't always the case.
Yeah, it's true.
You
It's
know?
very true.
Since, like, like his cartoon animated shows, everyone's known who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
So
it's like DC's Batman. Everyone knows Batman.
Yeah, everybody knows Batman.
Yeah.
And so like Spider-Man's the same thing. Like he's the number one hero that everybody knows, and he's relatable because he's a kid. And he's like happy-go-lucky, and he deals with high school problems or young adult problems, and so like that's why he's like the major like relatable hero. Like people can't really relate to Tony Stark. Like people like him, but not everyone's a billionaire genius playboy. Whereas Spider-Man is just a nerdy teenager, which is kind of the target audience of this kind of thing.
Yeah, everyone loves the pop culture references that he makes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like Spider-Man's such an important property to, Marvel that I can see why they don't want to lose him, but at the same time, they're making this really complicated.
Yeah, no, I heard a couple things like Disney might be making a trade deal with Sony, trading Spider-Man for someone else in their lineup, which I'm like, okay, who are you going to give to them, first of all?
Yeah, like, who's worth Spider-Man? Like,
no, I don't think anyone's worth Spider-Man.
Yeah, like,
honestly.
It's not like they can give him Iron Man, obviously.
Here, go make some more new Iron Man movies.
There you go. You can make an alternate reality Iron Man with a different actor. You can have that. We're done with him.
He's going to fight the Sinister Six.
Yeah, we're done with Iron Man. You can have him.
Yeah, he's dead in our world, so you can have him in your world. Yeah, no, they're not going to do that.
No one is worth Spider-Man.
No.
You cannot trade Spider-Man for something else. Like, there's nothing else.
Yeah, no, it's very true. It's very true. I heard a theory that Disney kind of leaked the details of the deal.
To pressure them.
So they can get public opinion on their side, and say like, Sony, why did you do this? But there's people that are saying like it's Sony's fault. There's people saying it's Marvel's fault, and there's people saying it's both of your faults. And I'm in the group that's like, it's both of your faults. Like, honestly.
Again, at the end of the day, it's business and it's about money.
Yeah.
So obviously both sides are probably getting really greedy over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just this. Having this deal was unprecedented to begin with. I was like, wow, Sony actually agreed to, include Spider-Man in the MCU, and that was amazing. But yeah, like I feel like maybe we should have seen this coming, that it would get complicated somewhere down the road.
Yeah, no, I mean, there were like red flags everywhere. I think even since the beginning,
Yeah.
And once there was talk of, there's going to be a renegotiation if Far From Home makes $1 billion. I think the deal was, if Far From Home didn't make $1 billion, then Sony was like, we're not going to have Spider-Man in the MCU, which is ridiculous, even though it was like in the contract or something. And then the other side of it was, if it makes $1 billion, we're going to renegotiate the contract. And I'm like, both of those are bad signs, Like either he's not going to be there, or there's another chance that he's not going to be there. It's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like having a character that's so important to your franchise be owned by another studio, it makes things complicated.
Well, they did it at a time when this, Marvel was suffering. They were losing money. They were bankrupt, and the only way for them to stay afloat was to sell the X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah, and Hulk. Although Hulk they got back sort of.
They just can't make a movie.
Weird.
With yeah.
It's weird too. So, and they got Daredevil back.
Yep.
And they got now with the Fox deal, they have X-Men and Fantastic Four back.
Yep.
It's like they're slowly reacquiring everything, but I do not think Sony's gonna let go of Spider-Man.
No, that's like,
they are not, especially with the whole Insomniac thing.
Yep.
Like they're not gonna let go of Spider-Man.
That's Sony's biggest franchise, the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, like the the PlayStation, what's it? PlayStation 3, was it PlayStation? Yeah, PlayStation 3 used the Spider-Man font.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think it's right there. Look to your right. It's down on the ground.
yeah,
There it is,
that's
right
the
there.
That's a Sam Raimi Spider-Man font that they used for and Spider-Man, I believe, came first, but it was just like Spider-Man was so popular that they were like, hey, let's just use the Spider-Man font for PlayStation 3.
Yep. And so, people are like, why?
And they recognized it. They recognized the font. So yeah, like it's Spider-Man's so important to Sony. Like they've done it 3 times. No, 4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
No, 5 times.
5 times?
Yeah, the 3 Raimi movies and the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like rebooting it.
Sorry.
So they did Raimi, they did Amazing, they did MCU version, and then they did Spider-Verse version.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've done 4 different variations of Spider-Man.
Everyone can't keep up.
Yeah, so this obviously means that they want to hold on to Spider-Man. Like they want to keep doing, and they technically did I guess now technically the video game version counts too as a Sony property.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah, there's 5 variations of Spider-Man that have been done in the past like decade or so.
Mm-hmm.
So like Sony is not gonna let go of Spider-Man.
No, that's their baby.
Yeah, and they did the whole Venom thing, which is like may or may not be connected. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's so vague.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be its own world, and I'm like a world without Spider-Man, but there's Spider-Man characters.
Yeah,
in it.
and like the origin of Venom is very linked to Spider-Man, but I don't we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think since the deal's still ongoing, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. I think they have to reach a resolution. Like, it's again, it goes back to money, but there's this whole fan thing where Disney had a plan for him to be in the rest of the movies, and yeah, like it's up in the air right now, you know?
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
And the worst part is, like, you know, this happened this week, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is D23 Expo, where they announce new movies, and Kevin Feige's going to step up and he's going to talk about the new Marvel movies coming out.
Oh, that's true.
People are going to be like, "Where's Spider-Man?" And you know,
yeah, someone's gonna. If they do a Q&A, I don't know if they will, but if they do a Q&A, someone will probably ask.
It's the hottest thing right now. People want to ask, you know.
Someone will want to know. So, but yeah, well, I feel like they're gonna be hush hush about it, unless a deal has already been made. They're not gonna say anything about it. They're just gonna be like, don't worry about it. It's on the works. We're talking about it. Blah blah. They're probably gonna talk about like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and stuff like that.
What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that Kevin Feige is gonna say something about Spider-Man tomorrow?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's still in the works. I feel like they're just gonna be hush hush about it.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if he'll be like, "Hey, Spider-Man's back." You know, I don't think he's gonna do that.
I mean, maybe they will. Who knows? Who knows? But I doubt it. I feel like they're still working on it. I feel like because D23 is such a big thing for Disney, and Sony probably knows that, so they're like, maybe Sony's using that as leverage. They're like, well, if you cut us a good deal, then maybe you can announce it at D23. Blah blah. So maybe Sony's using that as leverage. So I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, bad publicity is still good publicity.
Yeah, it's a game of chess.
Yeah.
Who knows?
No, that's gonna be fun. Tomorrow. I mean, I'm still excited for tomorrow's announcements.
Yeah. I hope they'll hint at something X-Men related or Fantastic Four related. I mean, that deal happened really recently, so I feel like it's probably just conceptual stuff at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if they hint at something X-Men or Fantastic Four related. I just curious as to how they'll work that into the existing MCU.
Yeah. So here's what I think, and also I hope is what they're going to talk about tomorrow during the conference. They're going to talk. I hope they talk about, of course, all the announced Marvel movies, including Blade. I want to see more Blade.
Ooh, yeah.
I want them to talk about the next Pirates movie. I think that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, are they like rebooting it? Or
no, you watched the latest one, right?
Yeah, the one with
Javier Bardem,
young Jack Sparrow, where they explain why his name is Jack Sparrow, but then it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you know, the post-credit scene, there's like Davy Jones.
Oh yeah, and they had Will and Elizabeth came back,
and then like she didn't have any lines, so they didn't have to pay her as much. She was just there.
Yeah, I don't think she spoke at all in the whole movie.
She just made noises and then ran up to him. It's not really a line. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna reboot it. They're just gonna introduce Davy Jones as the villain again.
Yeah, and I hope they focus on Will and Elizabeth again, or those new characters they added. They were kind of cool.
Yeah, Will and Elizabeth's son.
Yeah,
so
their
weird.
son and that other scientist girl. But yeah, because I just don't think Jack Sparrow is a good main character. He's a good supporting character.
Yeah.
But he's not a good main character. I feel like they tried so hard to focus on it. They're like, oh, everybody liked Jack Sparrow, therefore let's make him the main character. It's like Cars 2 all over again. They're like, everybody liked Mater, let's make Mater the main character of Cars 2.
Yep.
It's like, and a lot of people don't like Cars, the first one. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. I mean, it's pretty generic, but it's a decent movie. But then they took Mater and they were like, let's make him a secret agent in the second movie, and it's like, what are you doing?
It's a terrible
Cars
movie.
2 is the worst Pixar movie ever. It's terrible.
Those movies, especially the first one, were just made to sell toys. And they rivaled Hot Wheels because they have so many cars. It's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like taking Jack Sparrow and trying to make him a main character, it doesn't work for me.
Well, the marketing did their damnedest to say it was his last movie.
And I feel like that's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
Go in a different direction with pirates. I feel like there's so much pirate lore that they can go off of. Although it's weird because in the last movie, like, spoiler alert for people who haven't seen the last movie. I mean, it's not that.
I already spoiled the ending of the
post
credits scene.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
If you haven't seen it at this point, then go watch it.
But one of the main plot points at the end of the last Pirates movie is they removed all like ocean sea-based curses by destroying Poseidon's trident.
Yeah.
So, and all of the movies have been based on these curses and like sea magic.
Sea magic.
So yeah. So what?
Well, Davy Jones is still a fish creature from the post-credits scene.
Yeah. So how does that work?
He's gonna wake them up. He's like, I am putting together a team.
Yeah. Or like, what happened to Calypso? Is she still alive? Like,
I don't know.
Like, they have a lot of lore. Like, there's so much sea-based lore throughout the entire world that they could base things off of. I feel like there's still a lot of room to explore with pirates, no pun intended. But yeah, like I'm curious to see what direction they go.
Yeah, no, I really want Davy Jones to wake him up and say, I'm putting together a team, and then they get with Barbosa and they make an Avengers.
Like, what if they do that thing? Yeah, what if they do that thing where they try to make Davy Jones into a good guy? I don't know if
They're gonna do that. I mean, if Fast and Furious can do it to all their bad guys, they can do it.
Yeah, like every bad character
too.
suddenly becomes a good character. And it's like, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what direction they go with it.
Yeah, so I hope I hear more about them tomorrow. And the other one I want to hear more about is Indiana Jones 5.
Ooh, yeah.
I want to hear more about that.
We'll see. Is Lucas involved?
I think so. He's always producing it and writing it with Steven Spielberg. I know Steven Spielberg is directing this one.
It's just, like, I know George Lucas created Star Wars and he's a visionary.
Yeah.
But if you give George Lucas too much creative control, he gets weird with it.
Look at the prequels.
Yeah, look at the prequels or the Indiana Jones, the Crystal Skull.
Oh God.
Like, it's just
terrible movie.
I don't know how involved Lucas will be, but I hope it's not. And I hope they don't give him full creative control.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, we'll see. It's got Harrison Ford still. He's gonna be really old. He's gonna be.
And I don't think it's gonna have Shia LaBeouf. Is it?
I think they wrote him out.
They'll probably replace him with some other young character.
Hey, remember Mutt? It's just another guy.
Hey, remember why does he look like Chris Pratt?
Yeah,
wow. You grew up,
and I'm still old.
Yeah.
Okay, this is weird. It's gonna be in like the 60s, or it's gonna be whatever the time frame it was. Like how many years it took between the two movies from now until the last one? What was it, like 12 years?
Yeah, I wonder what lore they'll base it off of.
It's gonna be the 60s, so
the Soviets will probably still be a thing because they can't do the Nazis anymore. So the Soviets are basically the new thing in the 60s.
Maybe they'll go to Vietnam or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they'll try to involve some kind of world event. You know, like whether it's like the I don't know, Vietnam War or Cuban Missile Crisis or something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it. But what are your hopes for D23?
Man, so they keep announcing these live action, remakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like I personally don't care when they remake these Disney classics. Like I heard The Lion King is just The Lion King.
I haven't seen it. I don't want to see it.
I heard it's just The Lion King, but it looks realistic, which is kind of a what do you call it? Works against the movie because they're realistic lions. You can't really see them emoting like a cartoon character. So I heard that works against it. So I really have no interest in seeing The Lion King.
Same.
I might see the Aladdin one because I'm curious to see Will Smith's version of the genie. But again, I don't know, these live action movies, they aren't really doing it for me. But what I do want to see, and I just don't think they're going to do this, is if they do make live action versions of their lesser known movies or they're movies that didn't do that well, but they're like, hey, let's remake it for a new audience, but we're gonna do the live action, like Treasure Planet. You ever seen Treasure Planet? That movie's so interesting and cool, and like there's a lot of visual stuff they do with it. Or Atlantis. Remember Atlantis, the Lost Empire?
Oh, that was a good one.
With Michael J. Fox.
Yeah,
he was Milo. Yeah, like they could do something like that and just do a different spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like because people aren't super attached to these movies because they're like kind of like a cult following and it's not as well known. Like they can go in a completely different direction but keep the same sort of style and certain elements of the story done well. But like I wish that they remade these lesser known movies instead of like, hey, let's take every popular movie and just remake. Like they already did live action 101 Dalmatians. Are they gonna do it again? You know,
right? Well, okay. Well, to your first comment, I did watch the Aladdin one. It was literally just Aladdin with different actors and 2 new songs and a small homage to Robin Williams.
Yeah,
a really small homage. And
there's some like I didn't see Dumbo, but it based on the trailer, it seemed like they did change a lot about it because like I barely remember the original Dumbo movie, but as far as I remember, it's kind of nothing. Like it's not really that much of a movie, so it's kind of interesting that they added a bunch of elements and human characters and stuff like that. But I wish they did more of that. But the problem is they try to play it too safe, especially with the ones that are really popular. They're just going to play it too safe, so it's not going to be that different. Like I saw Beauty and the Beast, and it's basically just Beauty and the Beast.
I was falling asleep halfway through that movie.
Yeah, so it's like, what's the point? Like, what's the point if you're just going to remake it, but it looks different?
Well, Mulan has no singing. Only the songs are background music, the popular songs. So there's no musical elements to it, just the like background music. No Mushu.
Yeah.
No Captain Shang.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So what is this?
I'm curious about that one too, because it seems like they're going in a different direction, which could be a good thing. But then it could also be a bad thing because it's like you're playing off of the old original and it's going to have nothing to do with the original outside of the name Mulan and, you know, the very general story of it.
I'm still going to watch it because I'm curious to see what it's like, but there's another thing that's going against it.
Oh, the Chinese thing.
Yeah, the lead actress. Yeah. Not to get too political, we're not going to dive into this, but the lead actress of the Mulan movie is in support of mainland China and basically the police. She's like, I stand with China, I stand with the police, and everyone's like, boycott Mulan. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, and I feel like, because from what I heard, Mulan, the animated film, was not very popular in China. But nowadays, you know, anyone who's familiar with, you know, the film industry nowadays knows that China is a huge market for films. So whatever this new Mulan movie is going to be like, it's probably going to cater more towards a Chinese audience. I mean, it kind of has to, right? It's especially in this day and age where people are a lot more culturally sensitive.
Yep.
So this new Mulan film will probably be very different, hopefully in a good way. But I mean, a lot of the people that love the original Mulan love it because of the music, because of the quirky characters and things like that. So we'll see. It's just gonna be a different thing. I feel like it's just gonna be a different thing based around the same story. But I don't think it's gonna be like The Lion King or Beauty and the Beast where it's just the exact same story.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about some upcoming live action Disney movies and one of which is coming out in a couple months that I didn't even know was coming out until I looked at this just now. Lady and the Tramp.
Why?
It's coming out in November 12th, 2019. I had no idea that this was a thing.
Why? But there's just gonna be CG dogs.
It's gonna be on Disney Plus, and it's
so it's
CG
not even
dogs.
a theater one.
No,
whatever.
Not everyone's gonna have Disney Plus, but a lot of people.
I don't really care.
Cruella.
Although I am interested in a lot of the Disney Plus stuff, but go on.
Cruella.
Oh, so it is 101 Dalmatians.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I don't really.
Sword in the Stone.
That might be interesting. Yeah, it could be.
Little Mermaid.
There's a lot of controversy about that one.
Yep.
I don't even want to touch that.
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That. I feel like if they go in a different direction, maybe.
No, they're gonna do that exact same thing. Watch.
Then it's boring.
Because people want the musicals. I don't know.
What else?
Jungle Book sequel. Yeah, like seriously, there wasn't even a sequel. Wait, no, there was direct to DVD, right?
Yeah, but it's interesting because the Jungle Book live action changed the ending of the Jungle Book, at least compared to the animated one. Because as far as I remember, in the animated one, he meets a girl, and he and his his animal family basically say, oh, you belong with the humans. Like, this is where you belong. Know who you are. Like, goodbye. You're done being animal boy. And then in the live action version, they changed it where he's like, no, I want to stay with the animals, and he just stays with the animals. So I guess they're setting it up for a sequel that would go in a completely different direction, but I guess we'll see.
I don't. Well, maybe he's continuing on his adventure.
Yeah.
So there's 2 Snow White movies, live action ones. There's one called Rose Red and another one called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yeah, I don't know why there's 2, but maybe one's a prequel.
I assume they're gonna do. I highly doubt they'll do the exact same movie with Snow White, because Snow White is a boring ass movie. Like, it's not that, and she's not that great of a character. Like, she has no characteristics whatsoever. She's kind of just like a kind of clueless princess who gets herself poisoned, and that's it. Like, I assume they're gonna change a lot of that to make her more of a strong female character, and give the dwarves more to do, I guess. But I have a feeling they're probably gonna change up the story of Snow White quite a bit. I don't know if they're gonna go edgy like that with Snow White and the Huntsman movie. Yeah. With what was it, Chris Hemsworth? Oh
yeah, no, they're not gonna.
I don't think they're gonna do that. That had some cool concepts though. I saw I know they made 2 movies. I saw the first one. It had some interesting concepts. I don't know if it really paid off, but yeah, it was. I don't know if they're gonna go in that direction, but
isn't that the movie where like Kristen Stewart is in there?
Yeah, she plays Snow White,
and she's like banging the director, and then Robert Pattinson got angry.
That's the movie. Yeah, and I don't know.
Okay, that's all I know about that movie. I've never seen it. I only know about the backstory.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last one I want to talk to you about is actually one that makes me really upset. It's Lilo and Stitch.
I don't.
Right.
Live action though, like, I feel like it doesn't work live action.
He's such a good cartoon. Like, what do you have to make it a live action?
Yeah, like it's the adorable part about that is that it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
That they're cartoon characters that you make stuffed animals out of and stuff. Like, I don't know about that. Like, why? Why are they doing this to everything?
Maybe they saw Detective Pikachu. They're like, oh, this could actually work.
Why does it have to be every movie though? Why does it have to be every movie that everyone's ever loved and be like, let's convert it to live action? Like,
because money, nostalgia is money.
They're trying to bank. I feel like at some point they're gonna make one that's truly bad. That's just terrible.
It's coming up,
and it's just gonna kill this live action trend that they're trying to do.
They have so much planned though. Like, do you think that one of these that we just mentioned is gonna die, or is gonna cause the downfall?
Maybe. I feel like there's got to be a terrible one at some point. There's got to be one that just complete crap that ruins it.
Well, because like for Solo, the Star Wars movie, like that one destroyed the future of Solo Star Wars movies.
Yeah, like
no pun intended.
The standalone films.
Yeah, but we didn't hear anything about anything planned after Solo.
That's true. I feel like they have to announce some Star Wars stuff at D23.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious what Star Wars stuff. I want to hear more about The Mandalorian. I'm really curious about that. And it's kind of curious about some of the Marvel shows. Like, I don't know, like Disney Plus is sounding real appealing. They're throwing all kinds of stuff on there.
Did you hear about Ewan McGregor possibly being Obi-Wan Kenobi for a Disney Plus show?
Yeah, but it depends on how they go about it.
Yeah, they're gonna talk about it. Hopefully tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, if it's like he's wandering around Tatooine doing stuff like a Logan type thing, I'm down for that. But if it's like, hey, we're gonna take Obi-Wan and put him on this epic sci-fi adventure, it's like it doesn't really ring true to the character and where he is at that point in the story. Like, if it's like, oh, he's going around Tatooine and helping people out and doing like an old man Obi-Wan thing. Like, that might be really interesting. That might be really cool.
And like protecting Luke.
Yeah, like protecting Luke from the shadows, and like doing Jedi stuff without revealing that he's a Jedi because he doesn't want to. And like maybe he gets tangled with some kind of bounty hunters who are looking for Jedi.
Yep.
Something like that. That it has the potential to be really cool. But I just hope they don't mess it up because Star Wars stuff doesn't always work out.
It's true. Yeah. No, we'll see. I'm interested. I'm curious. I don't even know if it's gonna be a real thing, but it's all rumors. So maybe tomorrow they'll talk about it.
I wonder if they'll reveal whatever, what's his name, Benioff and Weiss are working on.
Oh, God. I think a lot of people are curious to see what they're working on too.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right, enough about D23. One more movie news topic I want to bring up is The Matrix 4 was announced.
Yeah, I recently watched a video about that.
With Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss returning.
Yeah, because last I heard of it, they were rebooting it. But apparently this new news that came out is that they're continuing it, that they're not rebooting it anymore, and that they're going to continue it with the original, at least some of the original actors.
Yeah.
No word on if Lawrence Fishburne's coming back, or I guess Agent Smith is dead, so I don't know if he's coming back.
Trinity's dead too.
That's true.
So how are they going to continue it on?
I don't know.
Is she gonna be like a Matrix version?
Neo is dead. All the characters are dead. So
yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do.
I don't know how this works.
Well, it's being directed by Lana Wachowski. Only one of the Wachowskis will be directing. The other one I think retired.
That's good or bad?
I don't know. Like 2 was good. Two of them had a good collective mind.
Yeah. And the Matrix movies do get a lot of shit because they are a little.
The second and third ones do. The first one is like glorified.
Yeah. The second one is like a good movie, and it's revolutionary.
I see what you did there.
And then the second one is not as revolutionary despite its name.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they dug too much into the philosophical elements to the point where it was kind of boring and nonsensical.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they'll continue to dig into that, but I guess we'll see.
I don't know. I feel like 20 years down the line, people are going to look back at the trilogy and be like, these are the greatest sci-fi movies of all time. Yeah,
because I see 2 ways they can go about it. And the good way will be if they meet in the middle. But basically, one extreme is they dig more into the philosophical element to the point where it's not as exciting and it's kind of boring and it's really confusing. Or they do the opposite where they dumb it down and just make it pure action, which makes it kind of lose the essence of what the Matrix was. So I feel like what they need to do is meet somewhere in the middle where they have those philosophical elements, but they also have the cool action. And there's like a nice balance between those two, and I feel like that's the sweet spot. But again, we'll see what they try to do with it.
Yeah.
Who makes the Matrix? What studio is that? Is it Warner?
It is Warner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is Warner Brothers.
Yeah, because Warner Brothers, other than Harry Potter, what else do they have? Like
they have Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
They produced the Hobbit movies, but they also technically just have Lord of the Rings as well.
Yeah, but I don't know if they should touch that though. But they're doing the Fantastic Beasts stuff.
Yep.
And then they have the Matrix. I don't know what else does Warner Brothers do.
They have a bunch of other one-offs. I don't know off the top of my head.
Who has James Bond?
That is MGM's Sony.
Oh, okay.
I think just MGM. You know what? I think the new one's being produced by Universal.
Oh,
Universal won the distributing rights to it.
Yeah, I don't know what other WB franchises are there.
I mean, they got cartoons and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a WB thing.
No, that's still going.
Mm-hmm. It's going strong.
Yeah, because right now I feel like most of the news is around like Disney and Sony and I guess Fox, which is Disney now. But yeah, I don't hear too much about Warner Brothers stuff lately.
I mean, it's not a bad thing, other than like the drama about like the CEO getting called out for like sexual harassment back in like May or whatever, and then you only hear about like the people about it, not really about the movies or like the bad stuff about the movies and stuff. They also have the DC stuff.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I forgot.
all the DC
completely
stuff.
forgot. Warner Brothers has DC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they got a good amount of stuff. But
even though they're like discount Marvel, they're still doing well.
Yeah. I feel like they're getting their footing because DC stuff has been really struggling, and then with Fantastic Beasts, as a Harry Potter fan, I'm.
The second one, no, you and I both watched the second one. We're like, what the hell is going on in this movie?
It's got that sequel syndrome where they cram too much stuff into it, and it's like it's Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom all over again, where they cram too much story and they add all these useless characters and they make it really convoluted. So I don't know what direction they're going with Fantastic Beasts. We'll see.
The tone was like all over the place in that movie.
Yeah, and they basically reset. They took everything that happened in the first movie and just reset it. So I don't know.
Well, I thought you were obliviated. I guess I'm not.
Guess I'm not. I thought you were dead. Guess I'm not. I thought you were captured. Guess I'm not. I thought you were in a relationship. Guess we're not. It's like
the worst part is that this is the exact same team that worked on the first one. You'd think that they would have a good shoulder.
Like, hey, remember everything we did at the ending of the first movie? Let's just not do that so we can make more movies.
Oh, God. Yeah, no. Okay. Moving on from that. Let's talk about games, finally. So gaming news. So Sony buys Insomniac Games. They put it in line with all their other studios. This is the first time Sony has bought a studio in like 8 years or something.
Yeah.
It's
got to be because of Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
Like, come on.
Rounding it back to Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's not like they bought it for Ratchet and Clank. Come on.
No.
Like,
Even though Ratchet and Clank is only on PlayStation, but still, no. This everyone pretty much thought that Insomniac was always a Sony property, but it's official now that they are.
yeah.
So that means no more Sunset Overdrive on Xbox. But it's okay. Even though people love that game, it's on PC, so go play it on PC as well.
What else does Insomniac make? I know it's like Ratchet and Clank, and did they make Sly Cooper? Is that them? Or is that someone else?
I don't know.
Yeah, like I can't. Like I remember here. Like I remember in the PS2 era, Insomniac was like a big name.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Insomniac and Naughty Dog, and like all these other studios. But like, what else does Insomniac make?
Well, I mean, I remember Jack and Daxter. No, that's Naughty Dog, right?
I think that's Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog is like pretty cool.
Yeah. Is there a list of games somewhere?
I'm looking it up right now. Insomniac Games.
Yeah, because Spider-Man obviously is their latest and greatest one. And I'm like 100% sure, or at least 99.9% sure that that's why Sony bought them. So
No.
like,
Yeah.
you did a good job with Spider-Man, and we have Spider-Man, so we want more Spider-Man.
So their other, aside from Ratchet and Clank, their other two huge franchises are Spyro
Oh, Spyro.
and Resistance.
I don't know anything about Resistance.
I just know it's a shooter, and it was on PlayStation 3, and you could have like 128 person battles. It was the first time you could have that on a console. It was like 64 versus 64 or something.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. I never played it myself. I only know that
Yeah.
existed. And it was revolutionary for the time because, first of all, it was free.
Yeah.
And second of all, it was on a PlayStation, and people are like, wow, this is amazing. This is not SOCOM. This is Resistance.
I guess now that they're owned by Sony, that means they have more funding. So hopefully that means that they can pump out more stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's what everyone's thinking for Kojima as well. And he's coming out with Death Stranding, which is his first project since he left Konami in like 2015 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been a while. So everyone's like, when's this game coming out? Luckily, it's coming out this year. So there's a release date for Death Stranding. And yeah, I mean, hopefully for Insomniac, this means more games, more stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what Sony will be demanding of them, if at all anything, other than another Spider-Man game. So we'll see.
Obviously, yeah, another Spider-Man game.
Yeah, so there's a sequel coming out for sure. I mean, this is like the first best Spider-Man game in a long time. So we'll see.
Yeah.
In other news, GameStop has laid off over 100 people, nearly
yeah.
half of Game Informer's staff. Remember that magazine, Game Informer?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And there was one dude, I think he was like a writer or senior editor or something, and he was on vacation when he got laid off.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that hurts.
I heard a lot of people got laid off like while they were in the middle of doing some project,
Mhm.
and then they were like, "Oh, guess you're not working here anymore." So it's like, damn, that's so unmotivating.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks when like you're doing something else, or what if you're doing work somewhere else and then you suddenly get notified that you're fired? It's like, shit, wow, should I keep working? Like,
yeah, and it's not like, as far as I know, it's not like the people at Game Informer decided this. This was a GameStop decision,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
'Cause GameStop owns them, so
Mhm.
yeah, like that sucks. But I mean, it's not like it's not like it came out of nowhere per se,
Yeah.
because GameStop hasn't been doing well for
Yep.
various reasons, and Game Informer is a magazine. Like that, magazines aren't exactly doing well either. So I feel like it didn't necessarily come out of nowhere, but it still sucks.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows GameStop is not doing well. I mean, I don't know if everyone literally knows, but
Yeah.
everyone who's a gamer knows that GameStop is going down the drain slowly.
Yeah, like the only reason to go there is if you're the collector type who wants a physical copy of a game, which is definitely not everybody,
Mhm.
and definitely even the people that do that don't collect every game. Like
Yeah.
most games, you're probably gonna download digital. And then I guess if you want gaming merchandise, you could go to GameStop too.
Yeah.
But you could find a lot of that stuff online anyways.
I think
So,
GameStop bought ThinkGeek in like 2014 or 15. So, like in downtown San Francisco, if you go to the GameStop on Market,
Yeah.
literally the first floor is just all video games, and the second floor is just
All
all
merchandise.
like pop figures, like
Yeah.
Minecraft stuff. And
yeah,
I'm
and
like,
like there's a market for that kind of stuff.
yeah, but there's
again,
like 3 people down there.
yeah, and again, like you could just buy that stuff online.
Mhm.
Or a lot of that stuff you could probably find at other stores. So, yeah, like other than GameStop, do you know of any other game store?
I mean, mom and pop shops, but
but like any chain, like Software Etc. or anything like
nope,
that.
because
like,
GameStop bought them all.
Yeah, because none of it's like GameStop is the Blockbuster of games. Like it's a dying breed.
Yeah, I know, right?
And it's sad because like they probably had a chance in the past to change to something else, like do something digital, but they probably didn't take any of it.
You know, they're doing something else right now, right? They're doing two things. They're trying to form an esports team, and they're revamping some of their stores to feature retro games. So like everything from NES or like, Atari.
Don't they already do that though? Don't they already sell like used games?
Online though. This is like physical store. They're going to have physical like GameCube games, PS2 stuff. Like, back when those systems were widely available.
Yeah.
Now they're going to offer vintage stuff. They're going to have an area where you can
it's going to be like a vintage. They're going to focus more on the vintage.
It's going to be half vintage, half modern stuff.
Yeah.
And so like only select stores, and these select stores will also have areas where you can try those games out too.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, well, where are you going to have these? Because if you do it in a big city, obviously there's going to be some theft issues.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They're trying it out in a couple places right now.
That's kind of cool, I guess. I mean, they have to do something. They have to evolve some way, otherwise they're gonna die. Like Blockbuster
or Sears.
Yeah, like all these stores that offer something that people could just get online or elsewhere. So
yeah, no, I mean, this goes back to the whole conversation that like this is definitely a Japanese market thing where, the United States differs in gaming culture than Japan, where people in Japan, they like to buy physical stuff. They like to hold something and see it before you buy it. A lot of camera stores in Japan, they have the physical camera there for you to touch and play with before you buy it. I'm not saying that, the US doesn't have that. There are places certainly where you can do that, like Target. You can touch the cameras or the iPads or computers. But, in Japan, they're all about like pristine physical copies. And, sometimes if you really like something, you'll buy it twice, like at the same time, like one to keep and one to play. And I've noticed that, and I'm like, wow, that's actually really cool. Like it helps fuel the physical economy in Japan. But in the US, people are like, oh, I'll just order it on Amazon, or I'll just use the PlayStation Store to buy my game.
Yeah, because I think there's a heavy focus here in the US on like quick and immediate gratification, and convenience. So you just like you want that instant game that you could play anywhere, and you don't have to worry about like dealing with a disc or anything. So people just care more about having the game immediately available through a download or stream or something. Yeah,
no, totally. I mean, the last time I was in GameStop was to pick up Sekiro, and that was in June. Yeah. So I only go to GameStop to either pick up a physical game or to see if a game is there that I might want to get, or if it's like just in a mall. I'm like, oh, we'll look at GameStop,
Yeah, like you're like, oh, might as well see what's new. I say the vast majority of, I don't know if I've ever bought anything in GameStop for a really long time. I've gone in just to look, but I never really with the intention of buying anything. Yeah, no, for PS4 games, I'm buying physical copies because it's just cheaper. Yeah. But for my Switch, I'm buying all digital games, so everything is always going to be the same price on the Switch store, the eShop. So, yeah, I mean, it really, to your former point, like it really depends on the person. Yeah. But with that said, the Yakuza Remastered Collection was announced this week, and that includes Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 on the PlayStation 4. Now, I know Alyssa will be really excited to hear that, but there's a physical version coming out on February 11th, 2020 to feature all 3 games. You can download Yakuza 3 right now. Yakuza 4 will come out on October 29th of this year, and Yakuza 5 will come out on February 11th, 2020. Oh, interesting. Are you going to get... I know you're going to get it. Yeah. But are you going to like marathon each game and as they come out?
No, I already pre-ordered the physical version, so I'm literally going to wait until February 11th, 2020 for the whole thing to come out.
To get all of it. Okay.
Yeah, because I literally own every single game that's available in the US, at least, on physical, or the physical version of it. So that would be 0, 1, 2, 6, and I guess you can count Judgment as the 4th one. But yeah, I am personally going to wait for all of them to come out. I know Alyssa has already played 5, so she's like, whatever. But I know she might either buy the physical version or buy 3 and 4. So this is big news because everyone in the US has been waiting for the remasters to come out since they already all came out in Japan. I think the 5th one is going to come out at the end of this year because the fourth one came out last year. But I'm excited for it. I'm going to play. It's going to be 60 frames per second, 1080p, revamped and all that stuff. So, yeah, now finally you can play every single mainline Yakuza game in the United States, and I think that's exciting.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is a franchise that has been seen as the GTA clone, the Japanese GTA clone, which it really isn't. And you've seen me play some stuff before.
Like it plays nothing like GTA.
No, yeah, like just because you can run around third person in an open world doesn't mean that it's GTA. You know, that's like calling Breath of the Wild GTA. Like it's really not.
Yeah.
Or Skyrim.
Like calling Breath of the Wild a Skyrim clone or something. It's
no.
They have that fantasy element and they have open world, but it's other than that, the gameplay is very different, and the atmosphere is very different.
No, absolutely.
So,
like there are GTA clones, like Saints Row, like that's a GTA clone.
Or it started that way. I think it became its own thing, kind of. Its own ridiculous thing, but yeah.
So I'm excited about that game series. I know I'm going to be playing it next year. So I know there's some folks, especially in our Discord, that are excited about it and that already purchased it. The date came out the third game is what I'm talking about. The way it works is that you have to buy the collection. It's $60. You have to buy. It's like 15. No, I'm getting my math wrong. Anyways, you have to buy the collection, and the first one unlocks, or already unlocked a few days ago, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah,
they unlock over time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the last bit of news that I have. Is there anything that you want to talk about in the news that maybe I didn't mention?
Nothing that comes to mind. I've just been playing. I'm trying to find like time to play all the games that I really want to play.
Yeah, let's go into what we're playing right now. So what are you playing?
Yeah, so I've been playing Destiny 2 for a while, but it's kind of hit like a lull of content updates, so it's just kind of. It's not really anything to do until the next expansion comes out, which is not until October.
Oh.
So I've kind of dropped off of playing Destiny 2. But what I have been playing a lot of is No Man's Sky.
Yes, I know that they updated that earlier this year, right?
Yeah,
and so
it's I didn't play when it originally came out, and I know that it got a lot of shit, and like it was didn't live up to the hype, and there wasn't a lot of content, blah blah. But like this recent update, because I just jumped in like a couple days ago, and there's just so much to do.
You can't put it down, huh?
Yeah, it was like me and my friends, we've just been playing every night, and it's just like we feel like we barely touched the surface of it. And
that's awesome.
They've added so much content.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are some bugs, and it does crash every so often.
Does it?
Yeah, it still crashes.
Wait, does it save before you crash, or?
So the saving mechanic is really annoying. So you have to manually save. So there's no auto save per se. How it works is when you get out of your spaceship, it saves. But if you run around and do a bunch of stuff and then you die, it reverts you back to when you last saved, which is when, or if it crashes. Like, so if you're running around doing stuff and then it crashes, it'll revert back to when you last got out of your ship. So if you got out of your ship and you spent hours doing stuff, and then the game crashed, you lose all of that.
That happened to you?
Maybe not like hours, but yeah, like a bunch of at least almost an hour's worth of content.
Oh no!
Yeah. There are other ways to save. Like you can make like a save beacon, but basically you can only manually save, and the only technical auto save is when you get out of your ship. So yeah, so there's that part is really annoying because.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but other than that, despite all these bugs and the saving mechanic, the game is really fun.
Nice.
Like you can explore new planets, and there's even though the game has been out for a while, because it's like procedurally generated, and there's like quintillion planets or whatever.
Is that true?
I don't know, but all I know is like it's really easy to find a solar system that no one's been to before.
Huh.
So I would say the vast majority, like 80% of the systems I visited, are brand new ones that only I've discovered.
So what was the best name what's your favorite planet that you named, and what's the silliest planet that you named?
I named a planet Naboo.
Oh, okay.
And because it had that look, it was like it was lush and had a lot of creatures in it and stuff like that.
There's no sand. It's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
No, there's mostly just water and jungle and stuff.
That's good.
Yeah. And then so the space stations are, so you can also name the system and the planet. I usually name the system after whatever the largest planet is, because I don't know, it just makes sense to me.
So the Naboo system.
Yeah, it's the Naboo system.
Cool. Very cool.
And so the space stations also have names. So there'll be like whatever the system name is, and it'll be like something beta or something tau or something station. So the Naboo one coincidentally got named the Naboo Rendezvous. So that worked out.
Nice.
Yeah,
Naboo Rendezvous.
Is the Naboo Rendezvous.
Is that your home base?
Yeah, no, it's not my home base. So,
Okay.
when I found out that you could name planets, I thought so the first planet I went to, I found out you can name planets, and so I just named it something random. And then I found out you can't change the name once you name it that. So my starter planet is called Poo Poo Land.
Wow.
So if anyone's out there and you find a planet called Poo Poo Land, that is my starter planet.
That's Jordan's right there.
Yeah.
Poo Poo Land.
Otherwise, I don't always name stuff. Like in the beginning, I started naming everything that I found, but there's so much stuff you can find. So it's kind of impossible to name everything.
Oh, wow.
But if I find a planet that I really like, I'll try to name it something related to whatever I like about it. Like if there's a certain resource on it that I want, I'll just name it after that resource. But yeah.
Like this is Diamond Planet, or this like
Or like I'll sometimes I try to be cool about it. Like I'll look up the name of whatever that is, like in another language, and name it like I'll look up what is copper in Latin, and then just name it that. Or
that's
whatever.
cool.
Something cool like that. But yeah, like you can you can find crashed spaceships and you can repair them and claim them.
Awesome.
You can also get a freighter, which is like a big starship, like a battleship type thing.
Oh, cool.
And like you can house your smaller starships on it, so you can get I believe up to 6 ships and put them in your freighter. And then your freighter also has storage space, and you can also customize the interior of the freighter. And you get a crew, and they help do things for you. And you can also recruit frigates, so like other smaller like ships that kind of are part of your fleet, and then you can send those frigates on expeditions, and then they bring you back resources and money and stuff. And they put a lot of detail into it because when your ships are on expeditions, it'll periodically send you pings of like, oh, this ship entered this system and they're visiting this planet, and then they're visiting this planet, and then like your ships can get damaged, and they'll report back to you like, oh, something happened, and then you can find out what happened. Like one of my frigates, it got damaged in the middle of a mission, and when I looked at the mission report, it said that some of the effigies, which are like these like statues or like relics that they scavenged and brought on board, came to life and started attacking the crew.
What?
And they had to destroy them and damage the ship. And so like they put a lot of lore and effort into
cool.
all the things that happen. Like it's different each time, and then like you have different captains that captain your frigates, and then like if you ever plan on playing the latest version of No Man's Sky, so how it works is normally freighters are really expensive. They're like the average one you'll find is probably like 10 million units or slightly more than that, which is a lot for starting out. But how it works is if you go into a system and you see a freighter being attacked by pirates and you save it, you get that freighter for free. However, that only happens with the first freighter that you save and choose to claim. So one time I went to a system, like I already had a freighter, and I went to a system and I saved another freighter, and that freighter was worth 80 million, and it was like this huge like star. It literally looked like a star destroyer.
Wow.
It was like this huge star destroyer, and I had this little dinky like floating pipe that was my freighter, and mine was 10 million, and I was like, oh yeah, like I got a pretty good freighter completely for free. But it turns out if I had waited and I got this 80 million unit Star Destroyer, I could have gotten that one for free. I was like, darn. But yeah, like, there's so much stuff you can do, and you can like build a base on a planet, and you can tame animals, and you can build like a rover and drive around, and you can find ancient ruins, and you can find like these abandoned space, manufacturing facilities, and you can find like these xenomorph nests. Like there's like there's these creatures that they look like a mix between the xenomorph and those creatures from Pitch Black, that Chronicles of Riddick movie.
Yeah,
they look like that, and they are really scary.
That is
because like if they melee hit you, they can kill you in like 3 hits. And it's like
snap.
And there's so much stuff you can do in the game, and there's like alien languages you have to learn in order to communicate with certain races. And,
wow.
Yeah, and there's this player hub where you can go and you can see other players, you can team up with them, and you can trade with them, and then you access this thing called the Nexus where you can go on missions with other players.
Wow.
And there's just so much stuff you can do. There's also a story, but me and my friends have mostly been ignoring the story because like there's all kinds of things you can do. Like, you don't have to do the story.
That's cool.
But I do recommend it. Like I believe it's still on sale. If it is, it's $30 right now. But yeah, like despite the crashes and the bugs, I do feel like it's worthwhile game.
4 years ago, if someone heard this, they'd be like, "You're crazy."
Yeah, they'd be like, "What? Like,
what are you talking about?"
Well, because when it first released, it didn't even have multiplayer.
That's right.
Which they promised, but they didn't. But now it does. I believe you can have up to 32 players in one session.
This sounds like the game that they promised.
Yeah,
and more.
Yeah, like
wow.
There's so much stuff.
Yeah, I never thought I would be interested in this game until now. This sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah, it's a time consumer though.
I bet.
It's a lot of fun.
I don't know if I can have enough time to do that, but yeah, this sounds like what Star Citizen is trying to be, but like a lot more than that, you know?
And it's always fun finding a new planet and see, like, obviously some of the planets you're going to go to are going to look kind of samey, you know, because like the procedural generation does have its limits. But every so often you'll find a planet that is just unusual, that doesn't look like anything else you've seen. Like I found a planet that was completely made out of cubes. Like even the animals were cubes. And the animals were like floating cubes that moved around. And I found one that was like made out of hexagons. And then me and my friend found a planet where the animals were literally like little hopping chodes. That were just
hopping chodes?
Yeah, they looked like little chodes and they were just hopping around. And it was really weird. And there was another one we found where they were like flying praying mantis looking things. And
whoa.
Like there's all kinds of cool stuff you can find.
That sounds awesome. That sounds like definitely a game that I would want to play. I mean,
if you ever find the time, definitely check it out. It's there's 3 modes. There's normal mode, which I recommend if you're starting out. Survival mode, which is basically if you die, you lose everything, and you have to.
Oh no!
Or if your spaceship blows up, it crashes on a planet, and you have to fix it, which hasn't happened to me yet, but it sounds really annoying. But it adds that extra element of risk when you're playing.
It's like Pikmin.
Yeah, and there's also and also resources are a little like you use up more of them, so the efficiency is less. So survival is like if you really want a challenge, and then if you want a big challenge, then there's permadeath mode. But I don't know if I want to touch that.
I see.
Yeah.
Is there space fuel?
Yeah. There's like hyperfuel and like different elements you have to use for your spaceship.
Oh wow, that sounds awesome.
And there's pirates that periodically attempt to attack you.
So when you have your fleet, can you like dispatch fighter ships like Star Wars style?
So you have different types of frigates. There's like support ones, there's exploration ones, there's like trading ones. And if you have a combat frigate, when you're getting attacked by pirates, you can call in that frigate. So like you say you're somewhere else on another part of the system or galaxy, that frigate, that ship will just hyperspace right next to you and start sending out ships to attack the pirates.
Oh, so that sounds awesome.
Really cool. Yeah.
It's like Star Wars.
Yeah. And some of the ships actually look like Star Wars ships. So that's really cool. And then there's also like exotic ships, which are really rare, but they look really cool and they're like hard to find.
Whoa.
But like, so basically how the ship acquisition works is either you find a crashed ship, which is kind of rare, and usually they suck. So typically it doesn't really, when you find one, it's not worth repairing. But also when you go to a space station, NPCs will drive in and they'll park their ships, and you can just buy their ships off of them.
What?
Or you can trade your ship for their ship.
The guy's like, "Oh, I'll sell you my ship." Okay, and he just doesn't have a ship anymore. That NPC's just stuck.
Yeah, basically you can just buy his ship and then that's it. He's gone. He doesn't have a ship. Oh
damn.
Yeah, but so you could do that, and ships have cost different amounts, so there's different exchange rates and all that. But yeah, so and there's like a lot of different ways to make money, and there's like missions you can do, and there's like treasure maps you can get, and there's like aliens you can find out in the wild that need help with something, and you do like random encounters basically. So yeah, there's a lot to do.
That sounds awesome.
And, like I barely touched the base building stuff, but it's really extensive. Like there's a lot of base building you can do. But yeah, like I definitely recommend it if you're into that kind of like space crafting exploration type game.
Is there PvP?
Sort of. There's no PvP mode, or like there's no focus on PvP, but you can damage other players if it's like GTA Online, where like you can go into like a peaceful mode where no one can hurt each other, or if you activate PvP, then you can hurt people and they can hurt you. So it's just really like if you want to be an asshole and like kill other players, you can. Like no one's stopping you.
If you kill someone or if you get killed, is there a penalty? Like, do you lose anything?
The person no, like as the killer, no, you don't really lose anything.
Sure, I mean, yeah, but like as the victim, do you lose anything?
If you're in survival mode, yeah, you lose everything in your inventory.
Yeah, okay, it depends on the mode that you're in.
So if you're in normal mode, it doesn't really matter. You can dick around and kill your friends. But in survival mode, yeah, like you'll just completely screw someone over if you kill them.
You're playing normal mode?
Yeah, I started out with normal mode.
Okay.
And I feel like I progressed really far with normal mode. But then me and my friends were like, we kind of want a challenge, so we did survival mode.
Ooh.
Survival mode was really brutal starting out because like you lose like you use up more resources in survival mode. So right out the gate, we were already dying on the planet. Like you start out with like a crash ship, and we were already dying because we're like, does anyone have oxygen? Someone give me oxygen. We were just running around the planet trying to look for oxygen and like other materials. But yeah, like it's really brutal starting out with survival. But once you get the hang of it, it's really fun, and I like that the survival adds an element of risk where like, oh, I don't want to die because I lose everything. So you're a little more careful, but I think it's more fun that way.
Nice. Well, glad that you're enjoying it.
Yeah. And then a game that just came out that me and my friends are really interested in, but we haven't purchased yet is you heard of Remnant from the Ashes or From Ashes or something like that?
By name, I don't know what it's about.
Yeah, so Remnant's a game. It just came out, like, I think 2 days ago or like really recently. And it's a Dark Souls-esque, and I know a lot of games are like, it's like Dark Souls. but this game, like, it is deliberately inspired by Dark Souls, and it has like a kind of cryptic lore with like this sort of what do you call it, like a dark aesthetic, and it has like a dodge based combat, and the monsters, you kind of have to know their mechanics. It's not like, oh, all the monsters are just tanky and they run at you. Like they have specific mechanics that you have to get used to. But yeah, so it's like this Dark Souls Bloodborne inspired game, but the difference is it's a shooter. So it's like a third-person shooter. So there's gun mechanics and things like that. But yeah, like it's or I don't know if procedurally generated, but like dynamic. So each time you play, it's like certain elements of the level are different. But yeah, like it looks really cool, and it's on Steam, and so far it's gotten some really good reviews. So me and my friends are really interested in that because we're really into like looter shooter games, like Destiny, and like Warframe, and what other Borderlands and stuff like that. So. It's definitely one that we're looking into.
Very cool. Yeah, let us know how you like it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna try it real soon.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome too. On my end, I'm just playing Judgment. I've been playing. That's the only thing I've been playing, literally, and I have no other time for anything else.
So does it play? It basically plays like a Yakuza game, right?
Exactly like a Yakuza game,
but it's just like different story and different characters.
Yeah, different story and different characters. Basically, the story is you're a detective, so you're kind of the opposite of the main character of the Yakuza franchise, who is
Is it in the same universe?
Yeah, same universe, same city. Yeah. So there's, I would always go back to the places that I am familiar with from the other Yakuza games.
Yeah.
But you can't go inside of them. Like you could see the signs outside.
Yeah.
Like there's a bar called New Serena, and it's a really famous and iconic place within the Yakuza franchise because it's the home base of, or the common bar that the protagonist Kiryu always goes to.
Does the timeline of the game, is it like after all the recent Yakuza games, or is it like, does the timeline coincide with one of the Yakuza games?
It's 2 years after the end of the last Yakuza game.
Oh, okay.
So 2018.
So it's in the future. So it's the latest one in the timeline.
Yeah, it's December 2018 is what it's where it's set.
Interesting.
Every Yakuza game is always set in December, and I think it's just because it's either someone's birthday that created the game is in there, or they just like it being set in the winter time. I don't know. I wish it was in summer. But yeah, you're a detective and you're trying to solve a murder mystery, while at the same time trying to run away from something that you thought you saved in the past, because you freed this, quote unquote murderer, and then the day after you freed him, he murders someone else, and you're like, I thought you were innocent, and then he's like, I am innocent, and you're like, are you really? And so, he stops being a lawyer and becomes a detective. And the story goes from there. Then you're deep diving into this whole story about like, what is this crime syndicate doing, and why am I involved in all this? And
that's cool.
Yeah, there's some puzzle aspects to it, so that it does make you think.
Okay.
So it's not just like punch and kick your way out. There are some scenes where you have to do that.
But there's still like a lot of combat and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's only 2 modes of fighting style. Usually there's like 2 or 3. You're a whole different character. You're not like some giant buff strong dude. You have a friend that is that, but you're like this really tall, skinny, lanky dude. But you still are strong somehow. And even though you might slam a bike on someone or stab them with a knife, they're not dead. It's like every Yakuza game. You can like slice a dude so many times and then or shoot them, and then they're like, oh no, I'm okay. Like, what? Okay, whatever, dude. Because you're like Batman. You don't kill people. You just hurt them really badly.
Can you still like buy real estate and stuff like that?
No, that was only the first game because it was set in the 80s when Japan had a bunch of money. This one, they have, so there's like 2 locations that you can go to. So in the 6th game, there's like a place in Hiroshima and then there's a place in Tokyo. But in this game, it's just Tokyo. So what the developers did was they added a lot more interior stuff that you can go inside, a lot more side quests, a lot more games. They basically just packed this tiny city with a bunch of stuff. So there's a new thing called a friend dynamic where you can run around and you can meet people and you can become friends with them, and then they'll give you benefits throughout the story.
Friends with benefits.
Yeah, exactly. So on that note, you can have 4 girlfriends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know about this until I started playing the game, and I was like, okay, this girl's like, I want to see you again, and this little heart meter fills up. I'm like, what is going on? Okay. And then she's like, okay, and then she texts you. She's like, hey, you want to hang out? And you're like, you can either say yes or no, and I'm like, okay. And then she's like, meet me at Theater Square. We're gonna go. And then he's like, should I buy something for her? And then you have to go to this jewelry shop and buy her a gift, which is really expensive, and you have to go meet up with her, give her the gift. She's all happy. The meter fills up again, and then you're like, oh, let's hang out. And then you can play like darts or video games or like, I don't know, like you do a bunch of activities.
Having these like romance like activities or like romance meters and things, it's such a Japanese thing.
Yeah,
having a game.
I know, right? So you have to do this 4 times, to complete the whole game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I guess I have to do all this. So start doing it. And then I want to show you this screenshot of the girl, because like I'm on the 3rd girlfriend right now. And the screenshot, it's like of her. And then the main character in his head says, this isn't good. He's like, this isn't good. This is considered cheating, right? Because I already have 2 other girlfriends. This is the 3rd one.
So by the 3rd one, then it's cheating?
I know, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And the whole point of the girlfriends part is to get them to confess their feelings to you so you can unlock a trophy. And then I do that and I'm like, okay, trophy unlocked. And then you don't have to talk to them ever again after that. So I haven't been talking to the other 2. I only talked to the one that I'm trying to like raise the meter with, and she finally confessed to me. So I'm like, all right, I'm done with you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah.
Talk about objectifying women.
I know. I know, right? So there's some fun stuff you can do in the game. Like, again, you can play like emulators. They're basically emulators of arcade
claw
games.
Machines.
Yep, there's claw machines. Yeah. Those are like a Yakuza staple. There's a House of the Dead type game.
Oh.
Yeah, it's hard because you're using the controller to shoot, and I don't really like that. I'd rather either use a mouse or a light gun because it's much faster. But I'm like, okay, I'll play this. So that was kind of fun. I've only played it once, and I got bored of it.
Yeah.
Because, House of the Dead is made by Sega.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. There's darts you can do. There's, of course, poker. Drone racing, something that you saw me playing right before you recorded this podcast.
That's a new thing too, right?
Yeah, you have to like buy different parts, and then you can get faster drones, and you increase in the Grand Prix. And right now I'm on the normal league, and I think there's beginner, normal, advanced, and then expert, I guess. And then one of your friends that you can make is this guy. His name is Sebastian Hutton. He's like this.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like this dude that sells parts to you.
I'm assuming he's not Japanese.
No, he's not. Okay. And then there's a weird backstory where you're like, oh, why are you here? And he's like, well, my girlfriend's Japanese. That's why I can speak Japanese so fluently. I'm like, this is a weird. You don't have to tell me that. Like, just give me the drone parts. Shut up. And he's like, you have to find these 10 QR codes all around Kamurocho, and you can get the best drone parts in the game. And I'm like, oh, this is so dumb. So I haven't talked to him because I don't want to do this. Like, there's a part of me that's like, oh, this is fun. This is like, you could play, drone racing. And I'm always interested.
They always do that in the games, right? In the Yakuza games?
They always have like a racing aspect.
And there's always like all these mini games that you can like really dive into.
The one that was surprising to me was that there's a board game that you can play, which is like you put on these virtual reality glasses and then you enter this 3D version you enter this game within a game. It's like a virtual Mario Party-esque board game, and you are the player. You are the character that moves on the board, and you have to complete certain challenges. There's no mini games, but I guess there's mini games. But I haven't played it since you first had to do it because they force you to do it once so that you know what it is. You get prizes or whatever, but
that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, and you can make bad turns and get bad spaces and all that. And I'm like, okay. And I've been putting that aside because busy with my girlfriend, gotta play the story, and I also want to go drone racing sometimes. So yeah,
so much to do.
I know, right? And there's on top of the main mission, there's side quests. The side quests, give you stuff that's not really pertaining to the main story per se, but more. They give you money. It's your source of income.
I assume there's also outfits and things you can unlock.
Yes, and you can only wear outfits during certain parts of the game. I think, did I show you? Basically, you can wear a Dracula outfit because you meet this guy who's an actor, and I forgot something about him. He's known for playing this Dracula character, but then he's he's a bratty dude, and so he's forced to do his community service because he did something wrong with the law or gambling or something. He's doing community service as Dracula in his costume, and you're supposed to take a picture of him, and he looks at you. He's like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Okay," but you have his costume for some reason because you're duplicating as him at one point. But yeah, so you can get different outfits in the game, but you can't change into them at will. You have to do it only during certain parts of the game, and it's really dumb. So, there's a mission where there's this drunk lady, and her husband was there. He's a pilot, and he's like, "I gotta go fly this plane. Can you wear my clothes because she's so drunk that you would look like me?" And you're like, "Okay." And so then you get a pilot's outfit from doing that, and you just sit there, and then you have to do the mission, and then your ex-girlfriend comes in. She's a main character in the story, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm trying to do something. Can you leave me alone?" And then the drunk lady's like, "Who's this?" And they're like, "Oh, what the hell's going on?" It's like a weird Korean drama thing that's happening. But then there's another mission where you're supposed to eavesdrop on this couple, but you don't. But they kind of already know what you look like. So you have to disguise yourself. So I disguise myself as Dracula and just sit next to them, and they're like, "Okay, no one's around," but they don't see this white faced Dracula dude just sitting next to them, and you're with your cape and you're in full Dracula mode. You're just looking at them.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so good. That's the most lavish outfit that I have right now. Because there's another one where you wear a wig, a blonde wig and a gold jacket, a full gold outfit, but you look more like Goldfinger than you do anything else, and it's not as funny as Dracula because you're Dracula's so out of place in the daytime too.
That's even worse.
Yeah. You're the couple's good, no one's listening to us, but you clearly see Dracula right there. You're like, this is a weird game. So yeah, anytime I get to wear disguise, you can wear a suit, you can look like a homeless guy, you can wear the gold outfit, or you could be Dracula. I always pick Dracula because it's the funniest outcome, and it just looks so hilarious on screen.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so I've been playing that. That's literally the only thing, and I love it so far. And Alyssa and I will talk more about it in a future podcast. We'll definitely have a spoiler cast coming up for Judgment, as we always do.
Is our friend Bob Utsunomiya make an appearance?
No, sadly. I miss that guy. You remember him. I'm glad you do. I forgot about him.
Because he's in every game, and who is he?
He gives you stuff. He gives you.
Why is he dressed like a clown? And who is he?
Every game, he's like, "Hey, I'm."
It's me, Bob Utsunomiya. It's like, are we supposed to know who you are?
He's like, "I'm Bob Utsunomiya Zero in Yakuza 0, and then Yakuza Kiwami." He's like, "I'm Bob Utsunomiya Kiwami." You're like, "What?
Who are you?
And he's
why are you a clown?
Yeah, why are you a clown? Why do you give me stuff?" And he's like, "Here's the latest DLC." I'm like, "What?" He gives you DLC. You're like, what is going on?
Who is this entity? He's the G-Man.
Yeah, pretty much. He just looks at you and he's wearing a clown outfit, and you're like, "Why are you a clown?" I still don't know what his backstory is. He's just there to give you DLC.
Okay.
Yep. He's not in this game, sadly. There's a mailbox that just gives you DLC.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah, it's like, you got a DLC package, but I don't know what to do with it because when I go in my inventory, I can't find it. So I'm like, whatever. I guess it's just added to the game because there's a drone one, and parts just ended up in the store in the drone thing. They don't give it to you for free. You have to buy it still. I'm like, this is dumb.
Okay.
Yeah. So no Bob Utsunomiya, but still a fun game. The lead, so you know that the Yakuza games are based on actual people, right?
Yeah, I heard about the controversy.
Yeah, there's the guy who had cocaine, and
because they're very anti-drug in Japan, right?
Mm-hmm. If you do something wrong and you're a media person, you get booted out of everything. Even if you cheat on your husband or wife, if you do drugs are one of the worst things.
Any kind of controversy.
Yeah,
oh, man.
There's a really popular comedian. last month, and he was like the most popular comedian in all of Japan. Like he had like tons of shows. He was on like guest starring on everything, and it turned out that he was like, you know, attending these Yakuza parties. Like, but this is like years ago. But someone still found out about it, and so everyone cut him out. His own agency cut him out, and so he was left with nothing. And he came out and he made a public apology, and the agency was like, okay, we'll take you back. So like the process in Japan is if you do something wrong, you have to come out and say that you're sorry that you did it, so that everyone can see that you're saying that you're sorry, and then they'll forgive you, hopefully. It's so weird, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it works similar in the U.S., but it seems a lot more...
But they like hold press conferences, and it's live on TV.
Yeah, it seems a lot more formal in Japan, like a lot more intense.
In the U.S., it can either be an Instagram post or a Twitter post or like a news article.
Like, it's not like you standing in front of a camera saying like, "Hey, I'm sorry for everything that I did." Blah,
I mean,
blah.
Logan Paul did that on YouTube, but that's also another thing, like a YouTube video, right?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So Miyasako is his name. He did something wrong, and you know he was forgiven for it. He was ultimately taken back by his agency. But this guy, the guy that played the basically the main villain in the whole game, he was a really famous like musical artist and comedian, and he got cut out because he did the whole cocaine thing, and that sucks. The replacement character looks kind of like him because, you know, they can't shave off too much of his face. Yeah. It's like they gave that actor plastic surgery is what the character looks like.
Yeah.
And he was like, they had to redub everything. Like he was the big bad villain in the whole game.
Dang.
And he's there from the very, very beginning. You see him, you meet and interact with him, and yeah, it was, I'm sure Sega was like, shit, dude, like, why did you do this? Or, you know, I can't believe you've done this. And then they had to redo everything.
Yeah, that sucks.
Interesting little fun fact. The main character of the game that you play as, his name is Yagami, and he's based on an actor. His likeness, appearance, and voice are based on an actor / musical artist named Kimura Takuya, and he's like one of the most famous actors and models in Japan.
Uh-huh.
And he was part of this boy band called SMAP, S-M-A-P. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Their lead singer can't sing. He's a terrible singer.
Okay.
But that's what the band is known for. One of the things the band is known for is that their lead singer can't sing. He's tone deaf, and so it's really bad. It's really bad. But they're so beloved.
Is it just like a joke?
No, they're serious.
Okay.
They're so beloved because they're all like really good looking guys, right? They're so beloved in Japan that when they announced they were breaking up, everything and everyone in Japan came to a standstill because everyone is crying that this band broke. I'm not even joking. It's surreal. This happened in like 2016. Everyone got over it, of course.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, why is SMAP breaking up? You know, I'm like, Anyways, yeah, I thought that was a funny little tidbit. For those that don't know,
SMAP?
Yeah, S-M-A-P.
Is that an acronym, or is that just what they're called?
You know, I think there's like 5 of them, but there's only 4 letters in their name, so it doesn't stand for any. I don't know what it stands for. What is it?
SMAP.
SMAP. It's got to stand
like slang for something gross.
Sounds like a derogatory term, like that you'd call someone. Let me see what there's 5 guys. What does the acronym stand for? Because I really want to know. It's so dumb. They there's this group called Johnnies in Japan.
Okay.
And they're known for like putting together really good looking guys that can sing and dance and make them be part of a group.
Is that like a company?
Yeah, they're called Johnnies and Associates, and so if you ever see like really good looking guys on stage in Japan singing and dancing, it's people are like, oh, those are Johnnies, like, you know, they're part of Johnny the group. Like,
okay.
Yeah. And most of the time the guys can't really sing or rap or dance or anything, so yeah. I'm looking at Wikipedia real quick, and it doesn't say why their acronym is SMAP or if it even is an acronym. Anyways, I'll look it up later, but I don't think anyone's really interested. I'm just interested because I'm like, why are there 4 letters and 5 guys? Anyways, yeah. Anything else you want to discuss before we close out?
No, I feel like that's it.
Cool. All right. If you're listening to this podcast and you want to leave us a comment or question, go to our website, www.Downtime.Live. Click on the contact form. Leave us something, you know, in that sense. You fill out the form, submit it. We'll read it on the podcast. You can send us an email the old-fashioned way at contact@Downtime.Live. On our website, you can go to the left-hand side where it says join our community. Click on the word community, and you'll get taken to a Discord link where you can join our Discord. You can talk to us directly about games, anime, the Yakuza games, Terrace House, Marvel stuff, if you want to talk about Spider-Man. If you want to ask us a question there directly, we can answer it either on the podcast or right there. If you want to leave us another comment or question, you can always, comment on one of our videos on YouTube or leave us a comment on Podbean, wherever this podcast is hosted, and a comment can be left. Leave us a comment there and we'll read it on the podcast. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. Right now we're 5 out of 5 on iTunes, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. That doesn't really mean anything, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the ratings are. Like, I'm sure people get terrible podcast reviews. We're just yelling at the mic all day, but it's pretty good. We have a good run so far. Yeah. So, any closing words before we go out, Jordan?
I hope Spider-Man comes home to the MCU.
You and everyone else. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to the 116th episode of Downtime Podcast. Have a good night.